Hey, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. I'm very happy to have you here this evening with me. And what I love about this evening, it is a little bit later. I know it is. Glasses out here. It's a little bit later. It's about 7:45 on the East Coast. I know I'm a little bit late again. I'm trying my best to do my 7 p.m. I just get trapped, sadly, making phone calls more than anything else. But yes, I am trying to make things happen. I appreciate you guys coming by. If you know it's going to be a good show, and you do know it's going to be a good show, then do the right thing. Like and comment and share. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. It does matter. Every little bit does count. I wanted to bring up something that I thought was kind of important today. And that is what I've seen in these last couple of weeks. It's the direct effect of the left-right paradigm. The direct effect of the left-right paradigm. And it came into my head for several things. But one of them was here in New York. In New York, I've been receiving, because I'm a registered voter, 2 registered voters in my house here in New York State. I get mail, right? Mail from the Democrat and Republican trying to get me to vote for them. It makes sense. The problem is it's all just hate mail. There is not one thing saying, hey, I'm the Republican and I'm going to do this great stuff for you. I'm the Democrat. I'm going to do this great stuff for you. It's just the other guy's terrible. It's all just mail that says the other guy's bad with bad nicknames. And, Hochul is Kickback Kathy and Zeldin is Too Extreme Zeldin and all that stuff. Can't be trusted. And while all those things are probably true, I mean, probably all of them are, that isn't really the point, is it? The point is we are now voting against someone versus for them. And you might go, well, Larry, why do you care? Why does it matter? It's just 2 knuckleheads trying to run a state, and either way, it's going to be destroyed no matter what we do. Well, there's some truth to that. But it affects more than just them. More than just them. And some people got smart about it. I was trying to get smart about it, but people don't want to hear me. If you remember, last year, I was talking about uniting parties. I was talking about getting the Republicans to let me run in their primary, all these types of things. I had floated these ideas to many people. And many people were very nice to me up front. Oh, these are wonderful ideas. They're so nice. And then none of them decided they were the right answer for them. Larry Sharpe's clearly crazy. He's silly. Let's instead sue him off the ballot because that's the best way of making it happen. Well, someone actually, not just me. Again, I'm not the only person who thinks of these things, right? And every single time that I give you an idea, it's based on something that I've seen or heard of in the past. I don't just make things up, right? I tend to come up with ideas. Ideas based upon something that's already happened. Well, something has. Now you might say, what has? Utah. Yes, Utah. Utah is really Republican, as New York State is really Democratic. And in case you don't know this, this is New York. I will give you, if you don't mind, I will give you New York's current voter registration, how it actually works. New York voter registration. If you can see this right here, it shows clearly it's about 2.5, almost 3 to 1 Democrat to Republican in my state, right? So it's a big deal. It's a lot of Democrats, almost 3 to 1 in my state. And you might go, well, that sounds terrible, Larry. Yeah, which is what I've been saying, which is why I'm saying a Republican can't win. Well, it's actually worse in Utah. But it's the opposite, right? It's the opposite, but it's actually worse, but it's the opposite. In Utah, it is almost 4 to 1 Republican to Democrat, right? If you can see that, if you give me those numbers, 878,000 Republicans, 234,000 Democrats. So it's the opposite. So my argument was always the same thing starting last year. Why bother fielding a candidate? It's a sacrificial lamb. It's not going to work, right? Don't waste your time and your money and your energy. Instead, back somebody who could unite people. Do that instead. And maybe you could actually win against the establishment. And people said, Larry, you're crazy. It would never work. Well, enter Evan McMullin, who is now in Utah. And he might, it's not for sure, he might actually beat Mike Lee. Now, to be full disclosure, I know Mike Lee. I like Mike Lee. So I don't know Evan McMullin at all. I've never met him. I don't know him. He might be a great guy. He might be a terrible guy. I have no idea. I like Mike Lee. So full disclosure, in making that. And I've met him before. I've been on stage with Mike Lee before. So I like him. You may hate him. I don't know what you feel about him. But anyway, my point is he is a Mormon in Utah and he might lose. Let me say that one more time so that lands in your head. He is a Mormon Republican in Utah and he might lose. Last time he ran, he won by like 40 points. I mean, that's how much he ran by. But he might actually lose. And this is a little segment on breaking points that will kind of show you what I'm talking about.
Midterms are getting wild.
That's right, they are.
So we're going to turn now to a midterm update, and we're going to start with a surprisingly close race in the state of Utah. Now, who would have expected us to be talking about Utah at this point? But
yes,
a year or so ago,
why are you talking about Utah?
Evan McMullin saw what he believed was an opportunity. He made his case kind of behind the scenes, but also publicly to whoever would listen. That hey,
I tried the same thing, right? Clearly, he was better than me, right? Either he was better than me or the Democrats in Utah were savvier. I don't know. But one thing he had that I didn't have, he had tons of money, right? The advantage he had is tons of money. I did not have that. He had both the anti-Trump Republicans behind him and, which I tried to get behind me, they decided to not get behind me. So clearly I failed at that. And the Forward Party got behind him. Now they endorsed him. Now, I did get the Forward Party endorsement. I didn't get the never Trump Republican money. I didn't get that.
Democrats are not remotely competitive in Utah.
Do you hear that? Democrats are not remotely competitive in Utah.
If I can show that I am a viable challenger to Mike Lee, I think that Democrats will all fizzle away and will then come over and back me.
This is kind of what I said. If the Republicans would just get behind me, the Republicans would just say, I'm not going to vote for Democrat. I'll just get behind a Sharpe guy.
And then I will be close to having a shot against Mike Lee. I've read some demographic data that if you looked at Utah.
Yeah. And that's the point I want to bring up. This is what I had mentioned in the past, right? I talked about this, the idea of getting behind. And, you know, shame on me for not being able to pull it off. It's my fault, right? I tried to pull it off. It didn't work. The sad part is not only the Republicans, I talked about this last time I ran in 2018. I literally said in debate, if you drop out, I win. 4 years ago, I said that. Nobody heard it. It was in a debate that wasn't televised, right? So I guess that's that, right? Doesn't really work. But I said it again. I said it recently. If Zeldin drops out, I could actually win this thing. Why? Because Republicans would just vote for me, plus others would too. Plus, I actually have policies, which is nice. I'm not just going, Kathy Hochul bad. I'm not just doing that. I'm having actual policies, a whole different issue. So it's a big change. But let me grab this next piece, if I could, which goes on to the next idea behind this too. And hold on. He is still a few points behind, right?
Still something, what was it, 5 or 6, 7 points?
He's still a couple points behind
in the 538 polling, but he's climbing. Like, he does seem like he's moving. Some polls have it very close, and Mike Lee certainly is acting like it's close. Let's go ahead and play this, Mike.
Now think about this. Mike Lee's worried. I want to be clear on this. Last time Mike Lee ran, he won by 40 points, and he's worried. Kathy Hochul only won by, Cuomo only won by 25 points last time. Imagine what would be happening if we had followed the same idea here in New York State.
Clip on Tucker Carlson this week.
Well, I've asked him, I'm asking him right here again tonight, right now. Mitt, if you'd like to protect the Republican majority, give us any chance of seizing the Republican majority once again, getting it away from the Democrats who are.
Now, be clear. Even in this case, even his desperation, again, I like Mike. Full disclosure, I know I like him. Is he saying we can fix Utah or fix America or do the thing? Even he has fallen back to the just not a Democrat. Just not them. I'm better than them. Don't do the them. The problem is, as I've told you before, it doesn't work when the guy's not a Democrat, right? Utah used to vote for him because Utah Republicans they hate Democrats, but they don't hate forward party people. And he's a forward guy. McMullin got rid of the Democratic tag and has a forward tag. And now he might beat Mike Lee, who last time won by 40 points. This was my point when I went to the Republicans and I said, hey, Republicans, let me run your primary as Libertarian. They went, no, you got to run as a Republican. Then I lose. Because if I have the Republican tag, I lose. Hence Utah. Democratic tag, lose. McMullin goes, oh, I'm not that. I've got a forward party. People don't hate forward party. So he might win this thing. I would have a Libertarian party and or forward party on my name this year if the Republicans had done the right thing. They didn't. So now they get a loss versus getting me with a win, which is why I keep telling you, if Republicans actually wanted to win, they wouldn't have done what they did. They just wanted to grift, which they did very well.
Facilitating this massive spending spree and a massive inflationary binge. Please get on board. Help me win re-election. Help us do that. You can get your entire family to donate to me through leeforsenate.com.
Your entire family to donate.
I invite all of your viewers to do the same because this is a race that's getting closer and closer because Evan McMullin continues to raise millions of dollars from progressive Democratic donors nationwide.
See, he just says he raises money from progressive donors. Not that I'm mad. I mean, obviously, if you don't like progressive Democrats, I get it. That's a good thing. But again, I go back to it. Where is the, here is what I'm going to do.
We're hell-bent on getting rid of me and replacing him with Evan McMullin.
Yeah, well, so he's absolutely right. So Mike Lee won his prior races by huge margins. So he won in 2010 by about 30%. He won in 2016 by about 40%,
40 points.
Or about 40 points. And he's right, because if you look at the way Evan McMullin is running, I don't know if you get his press releases. They're absolutely hilarious. This is a headline from one of them on October.
See, Evan's got cash. That's one thing I did not come up with yet. So maybe next time I come up with cash, maybe the Republicans will listen and they can get the grift a little bit off me. Maybe that's the issue.
11th. Republican member of the January 6th committee, Representative Adam Kinzinger, endorses Evan McMullin for U.S. Senate. That is not a way to win Republican votes in any other state. And I'm not sure that it actually really works in Utah. He's running as a former undercover CIA agent. That's something he constantly talks about. So this is clearly a campaign where he is raking in money from big money progressives and progressives in air quotes, and he is running really for.
So I wanted to bring that up because I wanted you to see that was the entire point. There is a left-right paradigm that is rocking this country badly. Someone like McMullin, whether you like him or not, that really isn't the point in this case. I mean, he may be better than Mike Lee. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, but maybe he is. We'll find out. My point is him and or his people. Again, I don't know if it was Evan or if he's got people who, you know, he's part of some plan. Who knows? My point is his team, that's what I'll say, which I assume includes him. His team figured out, hey, you know what? Why don't we just take off this left-right paradigm thing, run as something other than Democrats, which Republicans hate, and then the Republicans in Utah might vote for us, and they'll get rid of the establishment. And it's going pretty well. I mean, it's not perfect, but let me show you. Again, this is, at the moment, how he's polling. 6 points. 6 points? This is not a bad deal, right? For a Republican Mormon in Utah, right? I mean, that's not a bad deal right there, right? I mean, really. And he's a CIA guy. So I guess kudos to whoever the team is putting that together. But I mean, you look at New York State, it's 10 points. Imagine what it would be if they'd done the right thing. I'd be winning this thing now. I'd be winning it now. That's what will be happening right now. At this moment in New York State, I will be winning. Now, obviously, that's not happening now, but, you know, it is what it is. Let me bring up the last piece if I could. I think there's one more piece I wanted to bring up about this. If I can find it, just to pop this last piece up.
Has also said, and this is the key point, that he will not caucus with either party.
McMullin.
Yeah. So if there are 50 Republicans,
he's like Bernie.
Right. No, well, Bernie caucuses.
That's right. He does.
Although when he was elected to the House.
Now, why does that matter? Because what it means is McMullin will have at least the conversation. Who knows what he'll actually do, right? Again, he might be just a Democrat or Republican in disguise kind of like Bernie Sanders is kind of just a Democrat in disguise. And he might be able to, shift or adjust, but there's a chance that he might become a swing vote. Think about that. You get a libertarian and a couple of them, which is what I said. If I were to have won the governorship, we would have had 2 or 3 or 4 now senators, state senators, not senators, not national senators, state senators in New York State Senate. That's the swing vote. We could actually control the swing vote, control the Senate with the swing vote, just like he could, in theory, depending upon how things go, he can control the Senate himself based upon him being in the swing vote. Wow, what power would the Forward Party have? And again, kudos to the Forward Party for thinking this way. If Evan actually does win this thing, and it looks like he might, it's possible he will. If he does win this thing and he becomes a swing vote, the Forward Party becomes the swing vote in the Senate. Could you imagine that? The amount of press and power the Forward Party gets. Kudos to them. I wish we had done that, right? And I say this all the time. We as Libertarian Party, we have not done as much as we could have done. We should have been a third party. This really should have been us. People should have got behind us to make this happen. So, but anyway, just so you see what I'm talking about, I'm not just making this stuff up. This is actually real. So I wanted to bring this part up because it does affect not just New York State. It affects the entire country. And certain people have got to been able to really get behind that, right? And figure it out. I think he was one of them. Let me grab some of your comments. I want to shift to another part if I could and how this actually works. So, all right, and go here. Let's see. Brian says, my girlfriend and I were just having the same conversation. They don't even say what they're going to do. They just, other guy bad. Absolutely. Dave says, same here. I get the are evil and trying to overthrow the government. Yes, absolutely. And if you see it online too, like Zeldin puts something out, whatever trite Republican stuff he'll throw out. He does. It's always just like Republican stuff, whatever it is. And then people just on that, but he's the election denier. That's what you get the whole way down. That's in my view, not a reason to not vote for Lee. There's many reasons to not vote for Lee. So who cares if he was or was? He probably was falling behind everybody else. So what? Who cares, right? Clearly he's not an election denier. He's just another guy who fell behind everyone else, just going, well, this will get me elected. Done. That's a reason to not vote for him because he's just going to fall in line with his party. That's a reason, but not because he's not actually an election denier. I mean, most of these people actually aren't. They're just falling into line. They think that's going to work for them, so they do it. That's the reason, is because they're falling in line. So, yeah, it's a whole different issue, but I completely agree. Get the same thing. But the other issue you find with, specifically with Zeldin in this case, is he yells and screams about how when he's day one, he's going to do this and do that and use executive orders. I thought he was the anti-tyranny candidate. So he's going to swap out Kathy Hochul's tyranny with his own? I would like no tyranny. I mean, he's not even going to get there, so who cares? But here's the worst part. Let's say I'm totally wrong. You guys go, Larry, you're crazy. He's going to win. All right, I'm totally wrong. I don't know how I am, but fine, I'm wrong. And he's going to win. Great. So now he becomes governor. He's going to start doing executive orders. Some of you people may not know how it works in New York State. Executive orders and emergency powers are only good for 30 days. That's correct. The assembly has the power to stop any executive order within 30 days. It can if it wants to. It doesn't to Kathy Hochul or Cuomo because both of them own the assembly. So they can do whatever they want. And the assembly went, you got it, boss. Whatever you say, rubber stamp. You think they're going to do that with Lee Zeldin? You think in this state, if Zeldin happens to pull off a miracle, which, I mean, that's literally a miracle, you think the assembly's like, wow, I guess he's governor now. Let's make sure he gets everything he wants. He will be a lame duck governor from the first day. He will fail miserably. Of course he will. But Larry, so what have you? No, because if a third party wins, that's a mandate. That's a mandate. And I control the Senate, which puts pressure on the assembly. Yes. Plus, I get Democrats to vote for me, which means there would have been certain districts that I can go to and tell people, oh, if these people don't stop voting my way, here's someone else. I can do what Trump does, which is, primary people. I could do that. A whole different issue. So, yes. Let me keep going again. All right. Scott says, we are negative. No optimism or positive ideas. I know it's bad. Yes, 100%. It's bad. Pete, brother, 31 trillion. $614,900,188.79 national debt. Don't forget. Yes. John says he was an ex-CIA agent. William also says ex-CIA stooge. Yeah, and that guy might win because they're going to say, you know what? I don't want this Republican. And at least this is their answer. At least he's not a Democrat. That's literally, at least he's not a Democrat. Kyle says, I live in Utah. Hey, Kyle. Evan is also a Mormon. Oh, yeah, I heard he was, but I thought he wasn't practicing or something. Or I think that's right. You might know better. What I remember is that he wasn't he wasn't practicing, if I remember that right. But anyway, I could be wrong. He was a deep state CIA operative and current war hawk. Of course, I will be shocked if he even came within 10 points of beating Lee, let alone winning outright. You know what? You might be right. I don't know. To be forward, and again, I don't know either men very well. I've never met Evan. I like Mike. I mean, if I had to pick one, I think I'd rather have him just because I know him. But I don't really know much about Utah politics, so I'm kind of ignorant in this one. I'll take your word for it, Kyle. To be forward with you, I'll take your word for it. And the other issue is the idea is still good. The idea of Evan doing this is still a brilliant idea. I know it was my idea too. If he comes within 10 points, that would mean he had made up literally 30 points because last time Lee won by 40. So assume, Kyle, you're right. He comes to 10 points. That's a 30-point increase. The last guy, Republican in New York State, he lost by 25 points. If I would make up 30 points, I'm the governor. So yes, absolutely. So, all righty. See if I can go down here too. John says might be him energizing the base, not thinking polling is ever accurate. Yeah, that's the John. You know which polling is accurate, which isn't. So I tend to go by the aggregate polls when you add them all up. Generally speaking, the aggregate polls are closer to reality than any individual poll, right? It doesn't mean they're there, but if I'm going to do any guessing, I would always guess from the average polls. I think I'm going to have a better guess, even though it still is a guess. So Thomas announces midterms are a great time to tell the two major parties they need to do a better job serving voters. You are right, Thomas. If you are tired of the division they have created, the taxes they waste, and the strain they put on our everyday lives, vote third party. Write in Larry Sharpe. 130,000 votes. Is that too much to ask? It is not. It is not at all. Please do that. Yes. Danny, my dear, thankfully people are starting to see through the veil of the left-right paradigm. It's about time. I think, again, while I don't know, I'm assuming that Kyle is correct and that Evan is a war hawk. I don't want a war hawk to be, winning. But I do want people to see that this can be done, right? So this is why I know people are so angry. Larry, why did you get with Forward? Because Forward has the right idea with this. The concept is a good idea. You change the label on the package, and now people will look at the package. And that's true. Now they're open to looking at the package. If you're in a red state and you got a D on your package, like that, D on your package, you're not even getting looked at. You got an R on your package to look at it. What do you get? An F on your package, which is Forward, or an L for Libertarian. People will look inside the box, right? They will. And it's the right idea. So I hope that makes sense. So someone is quoting Tim O'Connor. The state is powerful and compassionate and will stomp people into the ground to prove it. Thank you, Patty. Great Tim quote. Yes, they will. They'll do whatever they have to prove it to you. Absolutely. Yes. Gavin says, because they are cheaters, Larry, we will persevere. Let freedom ring. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. I do appreciate that. 100%. Yes. Shannon says, honestly, I think the Republican Party is deathly afraid that the Libertarian Party will take over, end them so they continue to suppress us. I was going to bring up that, and maybe I will, Shannon, today. Other things I was going to bring up, but maybe I'll bring that up too. Some of you maybe you haven't seen this, but they are doing it. It is literally and this is going to sound conspiratorial, but I don't care. It's true. This is really a concerted effort to crush the Libertarian Party. Why? Because people are getting upset and they're leaving the Democratic Party in many areas. And with no place to go, the left-right paradigm, they just go Republican. And that was the issue I wanted to bring up. And I'll cover this. I'll keep going on this. I'm working on this road. Think about certain people who now are considered right or are talking about voting Republican or are talking about these things now, right? Talking about doing these different things, whatever the case may be. Talk about changing and are unhappy. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was a Bernie supporter. Dave Rubin was a lefty. Tulsi Gabbard was a Bernie supporter. Kanye he said George Bush doesn't care about black people, was an Obama supporter. Right? Jordan Peterson was a lefty too. Bill Maher wrote a check for $1 million to Obama. These are all people who were clearly left at one point. But something bad happened. The left got mad at them for whatever reason. They said the wrong thing or acted the wrong way or supported the wrong thing. And they didn't come to us. They went to Republicans. Well, Bill Maher hasn't yet. I worry that he might, but he hasn't yet. All the rest are going right towards Republicans. Rogan said he's going to vote for DeSantis now. Rubin's a clear Republican. Tulsi soon will probably be, I'm assuming. Maybe she'll go forward. It's possible. But again, forward picked up the thing that I wanted us to pick up. She might go forward, maybe. Kanye is clearly Republican. Peterson's going to go Republican if not. Bill Maher might. I don't know. But these are all issues we're not doing a good job picking up. And if you've realized, there have been several hit pieces on the Libertarian Party recently. Several. People beating them up left and right. You may not know this. I was the only candidate that they sued in civil court. Nobody else. Just me. They specifically came after me. Just me. Yes, nobody else. There were the people that got booted off the ballot, but they didn't care. They came after me hard and multiple times, right? Literally doing that. So that is an actual thing. But I want to bring up, if I could, I want to bring up the Bill Maher piece real fast because you kind of brought it up. I was thinking about it, if I can, and this is surprising, I think, but maybe it isn't that surprising. It's Bill Maher talking to Dave Rubin.
Raw nerve with me on this issue that could make me go to Florida or any.
He could go to Florida. He might leave California. He's already mad at Democrats, and he might leave California.
Where else? And that's COVID.
Yeah.
And their overreaction, in my view, and their limited ability to understand that, please, look, I want to be a team player, but you can't get inside my body.
No.
And that has to be my
Remember
decision.
when they were for My Body, My Choice?
Well, but
Wasn't that them?
That's okay. That's an unfair analogy because we're talking about.
But my point here is now you have Bill Maher publicly saying he might leave California now. Left-right paradigm. Where's he going to go? Right? Would I like him to come to the Libertarian Party? Yes. And he might go, Larry, but he's lefty. I don't care. He's got 1 million people who watch his show every single week, tons of money and connections. If he can throw that money our way, we could do some damage with that. You can do some damage with that. I don't want to sell out, but we can do some damage with his cash. We can do something with it. I would like to have that kind of influence. 1 million people. Here's the thing that you probably, many of you have noticed. If you look at mainstream media, Fox, MSNBC, and mainstream shows, whether they're web or online, John Oliver, Bill Maher, or Sunday shows, Fox News or Fox Nation, even online shows like Breaking Points and Rising, all of those. Where are the libertarian candidates? Nowhere. We don't have media. Nowhere. You don't see them. The only libertarian candidate that has been on any of those, even close, is me, and that was 4 years ago. Since then, they don't even have me on anymore. Blaze doesn't have me on. Joe Rogan doesn't have me on. The only person who does is Kennedy. Kennedy loves me. Libertarian Kennedy, thank you so much. I hope you're listening. Right? She does. Nobody else does. No other candidates. They'll have, other people who are activists on here or there, and usually to try to do a hit piece is usually what they're trying to do. Hopefully it doesn't work, but they don't have candidates on. I'm the only one. You watch Fox News or MSNBC or CNN or any of the ones. Candidates on every week. Fox, candidates on 6 or 7 every day. Republican candidates are on Fox News 6 or 7 times a day. MSNBC at least twice a day. CNN once or twice a day, but no one's watching CNN. But on these other shows, they're on all the time. We don't get anybody. It's not good. We've got to have an answer, right? Forward now, by the way, News Nation is putting forward candidates on. So News Nation picked up Forward. We don't have one yet. We don't have one yet. And if Bill Maher was going to join us and we could be on his show every week, done. I'll take it. I will fight with him over his other stuff. Take it. I'll fight with him over it. I don't care. To get our candidates on Bill Maher's show every week, I'll fight. It's fine. No worries at all. I would love that. So I just wanted to bring that piece up. That was interesting for you guys also to see that. That Libertarian lady says, I would write you in if I lived in New York. So you on Kenny last night. Awesome segment. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am trying my best. Yes. All righty. Patricia says, Larry, you do know having solutions that make sense is crazy about the two-party standards. Be crazy, Larry. Be crazy. I am trying. Pete says, we have to stop believing the old parties are going to become our saviors. Yes. We don't need a savior, right? If you are Christian, you already have one. And if you're not, you don't require one, right? Oh, go find one. It's fine, but whatever. We don't need government to be our savior. We don't require saviors, right? The number one thing I've said about our movement in general, we don't require a savior. We require hundreds of heroes, hundreds and hundreds of heroes. That's the issue. People have asked me, Larry, are you going to save the world? I don't think I'm going to save the world. I don't. Do I think I can set the world up to be saved? Yes, I do. And I was hoping to do it this year. And we're still going to make some impact. Not as much as I want, obviously, but we're still going to make some impact. We want to set the world up to be saved. And I think I can do that. Yes, that part I can do. 100%. Yes. Dave goes on and says, Frontline interviewed Republican Adam Kinzinger. He said no Republicans believe the election was stolen. That was my point, Dave, right? You shouldn't be mad at Zeldin because he's an election denier. He's not. To your point, Dave, you should be mad at him because he just collapsed and did what everyone told him. He's actually not an election denier. He's just, because why? He's not saying it anymore, right? He said it then because he thought that was the right thing. Now he's not saying it. Oh, and have you seen his new abortion stance? He was all I'm going to announce a pro-life, health commissioner in New York State. Oh, abortion's a bad thing? I'm not going to change anything. All of a sudden it's changing, right? He just changes. This is the current opportunist. The current opportunist. Grift, make lots of money, bring in $12, $13 million, and November 9th, he'll be set for his cushy job someplace else. What some of you don't know is, here's what I believe. Zeldin was afraid he might lose his seat, right? Because of the redistricting on Long Island. He was worried. Oh my God, they're going to redistrict. I might lose my seat. I don't lose my seat. Let me go run for governor. I'll grift like there's no tomorrow. If I get lucky, I'll win. But the odds are I'm not gonna. I'll raise tons of money, set myself up for a cool job as either a lobbyist or in some cool law firm, and I'll be set for the rest of my life. Life is good. And for him, smart move. I'm not mad at him for that. Good. Hey, set your family up. It's great. What I'm discussing is the Republican leadership in this state decided they were okay lying to literally millions of Republicans and telling them that there was a chance to win, and this is the end. Total lie. They all knew it, just a grift, right? How do I know that? Well, Nick Langworthy, who was the chair, who said, I'm going to win the governorship. We're going to get rid of Cuomo, he said, then get rid of Kathy Hochul. Then a second, a congressional seat opened up. He jumped in, stabbed Carl Palladino in the back, and now he's going to wind up becoming a congressman. So he's getting his cushy job set for the rest of his life too. So that's what actually happened. So those are reasons to be angry at those people. But because someone says election denier, they don't. They're just copying people. So yeah, and there was a recent poll that they were putting out saying, oh my God, it's neck and neck. It was a poll only from Long Island. Just Long Island. He comes from Long Island. That's his district. Neck and neck. Shouldn't he be killing it? Shouldn't it be 70-30 if he's such a great congressman? He's not. He was worried about losing his seat. Absolutely. So Paul says, I'm the governor. I like the sound of that. There we go. Yes, I love that. Christine, greetings from the Ozarks. What did I miss? Only cool stuff. That's all. Yes. Michael says, just join your Discord server. I found the link in the video description. Yes, guys, if you want to join the Discord server, please go ahead. The link is in the description. Click and join up. We'd love to have that. That is there. Let me do that if I can. You can join Discord server. There's a link right there. It's in the description. If you like what I'm saying, do me a favor, like, comment, and share. If you are watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button. If you want to support the show, support the sponsor, which is theadvocates.org and the world's smallest political quiz. I know I bug you on this all the time. All right, why do you keep bugging me on this? Here's the reason why. The world's smallest political quiz makes people think and talk about their issues, which is good. You're having a conversation. You can't break a left-right paradigm without literally dozens upon dozens of conversations, right? So someone goes, wait a minute, maybe it isn't so crystal clear that everyone on the left is good or bad, or everyone on the right is good or bad, because that's not true, but it doesn't matter. Someone has to believe that. Someone has to believe that people can be on the left or the right and be in good faith, but just not understand what your view or what your side is. You have to understand that. How to do that? By looking internally. The world's smallest political quiz lets them look inside. You get to have real conversation with your friends and family. So share that link, take the quiz, share your results, send it to others, do that. Use that link if you can in the description. And again, it helps us out because they're our sponsor. And it's free. It's absolutely free. Please do so. And joining the Discord server, also free. Liking, commenting, sharing, also free. But if you say, Larry, I have all this money, what can I do with it? Well, you can go to LarrySharpe.com/donate and give some to me so I can make this last push this month and get 130,000 write-in votes so we can have a political party that is not one of the two duopolies parties next year. Here's the thing you may not know. This will be the first time in New York State in the past 76 years that there will not be an independent gubernatorial candidate on the ballot. First time, 76 years. This is not good, guys. It's not good. And of course, LarrySharpe.com shop if you want to buy some cool, like this cool mug that I have, or a hat, or whatever else you might want to. All good, all there. Please enjoy. It will be great. All right, let me grab some more comments if I can. The Lunar Eclipse says, I'm not party affiliated. However, you know the modern Democratic Party is whack when they act like GOP in the Bush era 2000s. It's a valid point. By the way, what is your thoughts on walkaway movement, Brandon Straka? I like the concept of walkaway. I don't like the go to the Republicans. So if you're saying I don't like my party because I'm not doing the right thing, so walk away, I love that idea. I do. And I think any political minority or minority population that feels underserved, walking away is a good idea. So, for example, the one I'll give perfectly is Black women. Black women consistently vote Democrat again and again and again. Well, if you're a Black woman and you don't feel served by the Democratic Party, vote for somebody else. I don't want you to just go to Republicans because that's not going to help. But look, I'd rather you go Libertarian. But if you're not, go forward, go Green. Go away from your party so that the Democrats go, whoa, you guys, well, why are you going away? Well, you're not serving our needs. And then they'll do better, right? I said the same thing with evangelical Christians, right? If you feel the Republican Party is doing the right answer, stay. If not, go vote something else. Do Constitution Party, or they're very religious. Do the ASP, American Solidarity Party. Go there, right? Go someplace else then if you want to, right? So I'm a big fan of the idea of walk away. I'm not a big fan of just switch parties. So I hope that answers your question. So yes. All right. Let's see. If I go here, grab some more. Sam says, saw the news, no party outnumbers Republicans in Monroe County, Rochester. Goes to show people in a third party. Yeah, right? And if they would let us be on the ballot, this is the part that drives me absolutely nuts. How bad our judges are in this state. The judges know this, and they don't care. So they know that we do not have open primaries and that no party outnumbers Republicans in Monroe County and places like that. Well, no party doesn't get a choice in the primaries. So you don't get a choice in your government. And the judges are like, yeah, totally fair. Shame on them. Like, really? Shame on them. Right? Our judiciary just supports state power. It does not support the individual at all. I'm so disappointed on our judges. They're just really terrible. But yeah, and it's consistent everywhere you see it. From family law to our criminal system to everything. They just support the state. They do not support the individual at all. And your job as a judge is to judge. And your job also is to support the individual against the overreach of the government. if you're just going to follow the law and that's all you're going to do, I don't require you then, do I, Judge? I should just get an algorithm, replace all judges with algorithms. We'll save a ton of money on gavels and on robes. And if we're going to be screwed over by the state, at least it'll be cheap. There we go. At least it'll be cheap. So something. So anyway. All right. Grab a couple more of these if I could. Jeffrey says they know Zeldin cannot win, but they need him out there drumming up support so the down-ticket candidates like Assembly and Senate can get flipped red again so they can hold the purse strings and enrich themselves. Yeah, there is some value to that. But I would argue to them, which I did, but they didn't want to hear it. Imagine if the Republicans in this case and conservatives in this case had just said, you know what? We're not going to run a candidate. We're just going to back Larry Sharpe. Good luck. Let's hope you win. What would their people have looked like? You were given the local Republican freedom to not just follow the Republican line, depending upon where they live and where their constituents are. In certain parts of this state, being a hardcore conservative is not a good idea. And in certain parts, it's a great idea. It depends upon where you live in a state. It's a very, varied state, a very diverse state. So this would have actually given freedom to individual Republicans to be more libertarian when that was working for them. They didn't do that because they actually don't care about that. That's the problem. So yes. Michael goes on to say, it's funny because even Trump used to be a liberal Democrat. It's true. I know. Absolutely. Yes. Pete says, but Larry, why isn't anyone going libertarian? I'm going to tell you our biggest issue. And I felt it so hard this year. We as a group of political party, we're not good at raising big dollars. It's not our skill set. If we could get better at raising big dollars, people want to go here. And then the second piece is getting in the media, right? Whatever Yang did, he got himself basically a mouthpiece in News Nation. Well done for him, right? Well done. We don't have that. I wish we had that. He was able to raise, by resources, as he says, the Forward Party's bigger than the Libertarian Party when it comes to cash. They've got more cash than we have. And it's obvious by leaps and bounds. That's our issue. So someone says, why would I go libertarian if they can't raise the money, if they can't get the press? It's a good point. I mean, do you know what media organization across this country has had the most libertarian candidates running on it? Do you know which one that is? Yeah, it's Sharpe. I've had over 100 active libertarian candidates on my show, interviewing them, giving them whatever little press I can give them in the past 4 years. Literally, Sharpe. The most libertarian candidates. And not even close. No one beats Sharpe for that. That's not a great thing to be saying. I wish it was, whatever, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. That'd be awesome. Fox Business News, I wish. But no, it's Sharpe. I'm not even joking. So yes. All right. Paula says, the GOP stole the nomination from Ron Paul in 2012, and he ran as Republican. I remember that. Yes. I have resented the party ever since. Yes, they feel libertarians, even when we dress up as Republicans to get elected. Yes, yes, and yes. Libertarians break the grift, right? We break the grift. They are worried. 100%. Yes. Logic. One of the biggest reasons why I'm voting for Larry is because the establishment hates him. If you're a patriot/rebel in New York City/New York State, the answer should be obvious. Right in Larry Sharpe. I agree. Yes. Libertarians dropped the ball with COVID. Huge book. Yes and no. The Libertarian Party at the top did. But at the bottom, the problem is, here's the problem. I got shadow banned horribly. If you guys remember, when I first started Sharpe, I would go live in a studio on one or maybe two platforms. And I would get 10 to 15 to 20,000 views. Easily. 1, 2 platforms, 10 to 15, 20,000 views. When I had big guys like McAfee, I got like 30, 40,000 views. Ton of views. All good. I did a couple special pieces, got 80,000 views on this, 50,000 views on that. A couple, you see them on YouTube, but still some older ones. Then COVID hits. When COVID hits, and I start talking about, look, are the lockdowns really the right answer? Let's rethink this. Boom. Shadow banned like there was no tomorrow. Still shadow banned to this day. They've been shadow banning me for 3 years, and it has crushed my fundraising. It has crushed my campaign, and it has crushed me growing. So I was still doing that. You saw I was, Pete. I was on it, but they shadow banned me badly. I went from 10 to 15,000 views and on 1 or 2 to now I stream on 8 to maybe get 5,000. I stream on 8 now. It is crazy. So yes, absolutely. So John Slaus, Libertarian, I'm surprised they aren't more LP candidates. Yeah, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do that either. He doesn't either. So yeah. No, you had brought up something earlier about, Paul, the idea of, them trying to stop us. Literally, and I'm not making this up, the Republican establishment here in New York State tells its candidates they are not allowed to talk to me. They're not allowed to see me. I'm not making this up. You can do your own homework if you think I'm making it up. They literally tell them. I have people come to my events. They're running candidates. They go, Larry, I don't want to really talk much about me being here. I said, why? I can't take any pictures. Why? I can't be here. They told me not to show up. Yes. I've had people back out of my events, back out of being on my show because their Republican handlers told them, don't you dare go on a show. Don't you dare give me any legitimacy whatsoever. So literally that I'm not, again, if I'm lying, they can sue me or something. It's 100% true. I can show them evidence of people literally saying, I can't come see you. I can't do it. Literally, they get punished if they see me. That's Republican Party. What's that saying? If you cut a man's tongue out, you didn't make what he said was a lie. You just showed the world that you're afraid of what he's going to say. Yeah, you're totally correct. It is bad. So Shannon says, I think Gutfeld should having Libertarian candidates on the show too. No, see, Fox News is the same way, right? For those who don't know, Fox News is doing the same thing. Fox News can't put Libertarians on because they have to make sure the red wave Republican narrative, they have to make sure that happens. So I don't know if you noticed, literally Sean Hannity last week told everybody, don't vote for me. I'm not joking. He's like, no, that guy, you can't vote for that guy. Yes. PragerU. Yeah, PragerU. Libertarians are bad. Don't vote for them. PragerU. Yes. That's how bad it is. They literally, yeah, just don't vote for Libertarians. They're bad. Don't do it. Yes. So I do wish the LP would take a cue from the Gipper and go big tent party. I'm trying, Paula. Like, you've seen me. I don't think anyone else has tried more than I have. And they just don't like it. Raza, okay, Lieutenant Hochul. Lieutenant Hochul. I'm not sure what he means by that. Yeah. Oh, he's one of the people who thinks, oh, the Republicans love me. No, they don't love you, Raza, at all. They don't love you at all. They're just stealing your money and lying to you. And you will figure that out November 9th. And then you'll have an excuse. Well, it's because Larry Sharpe, or whatever excuse they'll tell you, because you'll believe whatever they tell you. So it's fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't mind. If it makes you feel good. Yeah. Raza, you ain't winning. Yeah, but neither's your guy. But here's the best part. Here's the best part. When your guy doesn't win, how do you win? You didn't. You're like a baseball fan who says, we won, but you didn't win. The baseball team and the baseball players made millions. You just threw your money away buying a baseball hat. That's what you did. So your team, we won. You ain't winning either. All you're going to do is throw all your money away on some Republican statewide candidate. Don't get me wrong. Local Republicans do win and sometimes do good stuff. If you like your local Republican, please vote local Republican. It's fine. Whatever. You do you. I'm okay with that. But when it comes to statewide, no way. So you keep feeling good. Is it Reza? I'm assuming Reza. Reza, you keep hoping. Do your thing. You're not winning. And when you're still in the same spot you were a year from now, in fact, worse, because your vote for Zeldin and supporting the Republican Party got us Hochul again. There we go. Utah Libertarian Party. Too many gatekeepers. People expect people to show up in the Libertarian Party perfectly formed and in full agreement with our principles, i.e. Tulsi. I cannot tell you how true that is. And I bring this example up all the time, right? I cannot tell you how many times I bring this up. You don't go into the Marines as a Marine. You go into boot camp as a civilian. Over time, they make you a Marine. What the Libertarian Party should be doing, and to be forward, I like our hardcore libertarians, our anarchist types, our ANCAP types. A lot of people don't like them. I do. I think they're important. They are as I say often, the North Star of the party. They keep us pointing in the right direction. They help us to not become grifters. They help us to not become sellouts. I'm happy we have them in our party. What I wish some of them would do better, and many of them are bad at this, is not yell, but teach. And many of them are not good at that. And I wish they were. Now, the example I always give is true story. This is years ago, probably 2013, 2012. So about maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. I think I was either at a Queens or a Manhattan event. Might have been a Manhattan event here in the city. And a young guy comes into our event and he's like, hey, I saw your thing online. I came and I like some of your libertarian ideas, blah, blah. Be like, hey, how you doing? Great. He goes, you guys don't hate NASA, do you? Kid like NASA. I guess he likes space programs. Now, the appropriate response would have been, look, let's talk about NASA. Why'd you come here? Was it taxes? Let's talk about what you care about. What made you come here? What are you unhappy about? Let's have a conversation. I'll meet some people. That would have been the right answer. That's not what we did. We spent half hour beating him up on how SpaceX or whatever it was could be better. Private market, NASA's a grift. Blah, blah, blah. We just basically hammered NASA as a horrible government program. Not that it's not true. The point is that's not what he wanted to hear. He never came back. So we should have just said, where do we agree? Are you mad at the wars? Are you mad at the war on drugs? Well, what's your issue? Taxes. What's your issue? Gay issues. Trans issues. What's your issue? Let's have a conversation on that instead, because we got you on all those. So we could have done that. We didn't. So we have to be able to move forward. But something else. We've got to be able to make coalitions, right? I wanted to make a coalition with the Forward Party. There are obviously many things the Forward Party and Libertarian parties do not agree upon, clearly. But you saw me on the stage with Andrew Yang. Did I talk about those things when I was with him? No. Why should I? We were trying to create a coalition to support third parties. That was our goal. So that's what I talked about, ballot access and third parties. I didn't talk about the stuff like the wars that many of his people are behind that I agree with. I didn't talk about the war hawk. I didn't talk about guns. I shut my mouth. Does it mean, why didn't you call him out on this? Because it wouldn't have been helpful. And it doesn't mean I don't believe that anymore. Of course, I still have my beliefs. And if someone had asked me, I would have said those beliefs. But why would I start trouble with some guy who I know I disagree with? Leave him alone. Agree with what we agree upon. Move forward in lockstep with the things that we agree upon. And then we'll move away for other things. That will be the right answer. And you know what? I haven't given up yet. I am still trying to make that happen. I am. So, yeah. All right. Philip says, tag Larry strategically on social media. Yes. Philip is right. Yes, please. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Pete goes on to say, everyone needs to drop 100 right in Larry Sharpes a day. Yes. Oh, my God. Yes, yes, yes. We should do that. He's right. Do that. Yes. Let's do that. I love that idea. Everyone should do 100 right in Larry Sharpes per day. Please do that. Saying bleed out. So Pete says, running Jorgensen put the party back 20 years back. It's a tough call, Pete. It did hurt us. There's no doubt. The Jorgensen campaign did hurt us. That's true. And it hurt us for many reasons. One of the biggest ones was because we were doing this with the two Gary Johnson campaigns and not being able to at least maintain Gary Johnson numbers. We just lost a lot of people, you know, a lot of belief, a lot of momentum, and it made the party easy to be taken over. It's true. It also made it easy to laugh at the party and say we were a joke. It made everything harder. It's true. 20 years, maybe a bit of, I'm not agreeing on the 20-year part, but it did hurt us. There's no doubt. It just did. The campaign did hurt the party badly. It did. True. Katrina says 100% exactly. It was up in the air that he can keep his seat. Oh, is that right? Well, there we go. Yes. Phil goes, Chrissy Mayer and Lou Rossman have bigger audiences than CNN. That's true. But you know what? The difference is, Phil, is that being on CNN and then sharing that into social media sphere is what gives a candidate legitimacy in the older people's minds. I know I have gray hair. I'm one of those, right? So, and the older people by percentage vote a whole lot more, right? They vote a lot more. So I want someone who thinks, oh, Larry's legitimate now because I saw, you know, a line underneath that said Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. I do want that person to go, oh, he's legitimate now because I saw him on the TV show. And that means he's real now. So I think you're right when it comes to audience, but you're sharing it someplace else. I go back to the example of whenever I go out to places, I try whenever possible to get local media to show up, local newspapers. Like a local newspapers, well, like 300 people read some local newspapers. That's true. But if you read a local newspaper, you vote. That's true, right? If you're a person who actually picks up and reads your local newspaper, you care, you vote. And there are people who absolutely read the local newspapers and they care and they vote. So while the audience is small, it's the perfect audience. Like it's the audience I want. So yeah, 100%. Joel says, Zeldin announced day one he would declare an emergency and make tyrannical decrees. Yep. And he thinks he's the good guy. He's the good guy. My king is better than your king. I would like no king. None. Yes. Paul says, Fox even had Stacey Abrams in, but not you, Larry. Yeah. I agree. Yes. Yes. Brian says, if no Republican believed the election was stolen, why did the MAGAs storm the Capitol? Oh, no. I think what he means is Republican leadership. I think that's what he means. I think a lot of people believe the election was stolen. I meet them all the time. I think a lot of people do. A lot do. Right? 100%. I see it all the time. I mean, weekly. Sure. I think he means actually elected Republicans, right? When I talk about Republicans, the general rule, I'm not talking about the voters. I'm talking about the leadership. He's talking about the elected officials. So I guess we should have been clear on that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. Okay. Shannon says, I feel that pain living in Southern California. The only choices you have are Democrat versus Democrat. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Let's see here. Logic says totally fine with disbarring every single judge in New York State on every level to replace him with a fresh and clean set of oath keepers that will defend citizens. I wish we could do that. Oh my God. Yes, I wish we could. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yes. Yes. Brian says, it is a fallacy to believe judges won't support the state because they are the third branch of the state. Valid point, Brian. You know what? I had hoped, right? I had hoped. I wanted to believe that judges would care more about the rights of the individual people. I guess I was just too naive. Guilty as charged. I still want to believe it. I do. But, man, they've proven that I can't. Absolutely. 100%. All right. Phil says, Larry, I think it's important to get big donors. We also need to encourage small donors to give. Bernie Sanders and Ron Paul were number one with small donors. Agree. We need all of them, right? We need better people at doing it, better at it, all those things, right? I have raised a lot of money for libertarians in the last 6 years. In the last 6 years, I probably raised about $1.5 million, almost $1 million for myself, and about $500,000 for others. So yes, I raised a lot of money, but it's not enough, right? I've raised $1 million over the course of 5 years and 2 campaigns. Kathy Hochul raises $20 million in one campaign in 1 year. I'm nowhere near that. I mean, I'm so outgunned, right? I'm so outgunned. And even Zeldin, I think the last Republican, raised $4 or $5 million in his race. Zeldin raised, 13 million. I raised 1 million in 2 races over 5 years. I'm totally outgunned. But I'm not done. I'm still fighting. If I want you to imagine something. You guys have seen what I've done last year, 2018. People were upset because, Larry, your campaign was better in 2018. You're right. You're right. Why? I didn't have to spend $400,000 on ballot access last time. I took the money I raised last time and put it into the campaign. Travel, Facebook ads, merch. I put it all into that. This one, I had to put it all into ballot access and lawsuits. I dropped 40 grand on lawsuits. What am I going to do? The state said, go to hell, and no judge cares. And the Republicans are too worried about grifting than trying to actually win. And Democrats don't care because it's their state. They own it. So Republicans want to grift. Democrats don't care. Judges are part of the state. I don't know what I could have done. I don't know. So, yeah. Pete says, why are some libertarians saying Tulsi Gabbard isn't libertarian enough? I feel part of it should be scare people off. Well, yeah, she has a lot of it. This goes back to the earlier point, right? The Utah Libertarian Party said, she's not perfect. She isn't. But would I take Tulsi Gabbard? Yes. She has her own podcast. She can go on any station she wants to go on. I'll take it. I will fight with her imperfections. I'll deal with those issues. I'll deal with them. I'll defend them if I need to. I'll help change her mind. Fine. I'll be her communications director and I'll spin. Whatever. I'll deal with it. If I could get that type of press. And the reason you might say this, I know some of you will be upset. We have to be thinking, is someone libertarian enough to have them become part of our party? Now, here's what I do not want, and this is our history. Our history is Tulsi Gabbard comes aboard, and she wants to be president of the United States with the libertarian line. No, I'm not okay with that. That's not the right answer. But if she wants to join the party, now she has not said this to anybody that I know, so this is total speculation. Be very clear. But if she wanted to join the party and then start going to conventions and meeting people and having conversations and maybe supporting some candidates, I'm in. Yes, because here's how it works every single time. When you start to join libertarians, one of two things happens. Within 1 year, you go, you know what? Not for me, I'm out. That happens. Or, I'm more libertarian than I thought. So if Tulsi wants to come join our party, not take our presidential nomination, that's not what I'm saying. Happy to have her. Come on in. Let's have some conversations. A year from now, she'll either go, you know what? Not for me. Or she'll say, you know what? I'm more libertarian than I thought. Both are the right answer. And either way, the party gets press while she's here. Other candidates will do well while she's here. So come on in, Tulsi. If you happen to be watching, I hope you are. Happy to have you in. Let's do it. Happy to have you in. And we'll see what happens. So I think that's why we're worried, because in the past, what we had was some would join, try to take our line, and then leave. Yeah, that's bad. But if you want to join the party and stay. Be one of us. You'll either like us or you won't within about a year or so. I'm happy either way. So yes. Brian says, I commented on a Zeldin post today, #debate Larry Sharpe. I like that. Yes, I like that. Yeah. Patty says, they didn't notify me about this show. I happen to have my brother say you were on. This happens all the time. I've been shadow banned for years. People don't get my notifications. People don't watch my stuff constantly. It's a common thing. I wish it wasn't true. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see here. Joel says, I joined mainly libertarian discussion groups and got run off from each of them by angry people. I'm glad you're here, Joel. Stay here. I'm never going to run you up. I put people who yell at me and call me a clown here. I'm open for everybody. You haven't seen me. People insult me. And I'm like, come on. It's fine. It's fine. Pete says, will this new Mises caucus save the party? I don't know. I don't know. Right? I hope so. I do. I hope so. They've been better to me than the past party. So I guess that's one good thing off the bat. I hope so. Here's the reality. They have put forward a bold agenda. So Mises will either achieve their bold agenda, in which case they've saved the party. Life is good. Or they won't, in which case they will have failed. And in which case other people who want to beat them will have to do better than them. So either way, the bar has been raised. It is what it is. Growing pains. It is what it is. I hope Mises is able to achieve their goals and make the party better. We all want if they do. If they don't, right? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe they can't execute. Maybe it's bad, whatever. Maybe it is. If it is, the next group has to be better than them. So either way, we win. So I'm not concerned. I'm not. Either way, there's been a lot of short-term pain. But I think either way, it's still a good thing. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Rhonda says, while I have not been here in a while, I do want you in office. Oh, thank you. I've been talking you up when I can. I have a few people convinced to vote for you, willing to write you in. Thank you. What's the easiest way to explain to them? This is the easiest way, Rhonda, for anybody who is, if you're liberty leaning, just have them watch one of my videos. It's fine. But say they're not. They're just someone who's mad, right? Someone who's unhappy, right? The way to get someone to get it is be very simple. Right now, there's only two choices. And in New York State, there's really only one. If you have only two choices, then it's just who's more evil. If you have three, the 1/3 party gives one new people a chance to run, because you can't unless you're establishment on two parties, right? So new people a chance to run and a way to push against the establishment to make change, because we actually have a one-party system. That's an easy way of doing it. Write in Larry Sharpe. If I got 130,000 write-ins, we have a party. just write in Larry Sharpe. That's it. Write in my name at the bottom where it says write that in, and we're good. Christine says Jorgensen was so lukewarm. That was the issue. Yes, that was the issue. Ronna says, I'm part of your Discord. Is that a better way to ask questions? Two good ways to ask questions. One of them is here. Discord's good, but this is a great way right here live. So I try to answer all the questions to the best of my ability, right? So we try to. And the other way is, of course, via Twitter. Twitter's good too. So absolutely, yes. So fun fact, Zeldin supporters do not like to hear they cannot win. They get pissed off. Oh my God. Yes, they get pissed off. You are so correct. Yes, because this is the other part. They're so worried about winning, they're not worried about impact. I'd like to vote for you, Larry, but you can't win. Well, Zeldin can't win either. Well, now I'm mad. So it's okay to tell me I can't win, but I can't tell you Zeldin can't win. Yep, that's pretty much how it works. John says, I'll be making my own write-in Sharpe signs this weekend, as well as my official election day stamp. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Please, everyone you can, please make that happen. I love that. Scott says, drop 100 write-in Larry Sharpe today. If it's about on Facebook, the automated system will hide it after a certain amount. Oh, I didn't even realize that. All right, so you got to just maybe do Facebook and Twitter and other things, I guess. Yes. Lara says, yes, wearing blinders, it will be Larry's fault when they lose. Correct. It was last time too. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Mike says, the lockdowns helped the party. Did they? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Michael says, it's more like my king is better than your queen, Her Majesty Queen Hochul. Yes, also true. That's true, yes. So, Christine says, elected officials won't say on the record the election was stolen, but the evidence is overwhelming that these people aren't stupid. Yeah, agreed. Max Libertarian says, you are the best. Thank you. I love that. That's awesome. So, Matthew says, the idea that Zeldin is the alternative to Hochul and not the continuation of the same regime, but in a different makeup is hilarious, fallacious. Yeah, you know what? Either way, they're both partisan. This is the thing people don't get, right? Both of them are career politicians. Both of them have been in charge in some way, shape, or form for the past decade. If you're unhappy with our state, they're the ones who did it. Literally, they're the ones who did it. They've both been in Congress. They've both been in the Assembly. She's been a governor. He's looking to be a governor. They've all been through everything. They are literally the reason for all the problems. We're like, you know what we'll do? Bring these guys in. They're literally the problems. Yes. So, all right. Let's see here. So many that I appreciate that. William says, good news. North Carolina has joined California as the second state with more than 50,000 registered libertarians, according to Ballot Access News. Yes, and that's my point, William. They are literally scared of us. We are the third largest party, and we are rocking and rolling. Yes, absolutely true. Yes, thank you for that. That's good news. Thank you. Sam says, I had the same experience as Joel. I've been libertarian since 2008. No shortage of people who issue purity tests. Give people time to grow. Restoring liberty takes time. I talk about it all the time. Yes, I don't want to beat people up. Stay. Absolutely. Stay. Jote says, Tulsi Gabbard, the next president. Welcome her. You know, I don't think that's true, Jote. I think the odds are high that if Republicans win the presidency, she will have a space in the cabinet, whether that's on someone's ticket as a VP, whether that's Secretary of State, whether that's Secretary of the Army or the Navy, whether that's Secretary of Defense, Chair of the VA, something, right? I think she has a spot someplace. I don't think she's the next president. I think she's too young for that right now. I think she's going to put a little bit more space in there, then maybe later. Maybe. Who knows? So I hope that was clear. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that part was clear if I could. And again, as I always say, guys, do me a favor, like, comment, share. It does matter. I bring it up all the time. It matters tremendously. Please like and comment, share, so I can get past the algorithms that cut me down until tomorrow. If you're on YouTube, please click subscribe button. Every subscriber matters. Please do so. If you want to support the actual show, theadvocates.org. The link is in the description. Click that specific link and share that link into other places so that people can see it and take that. This is a way, the test is a way to start conversations. That's what it's about. right? That is what it's about. You want to support me directly? LarrySharpe.com/donate. Every dollar counts. We're still going to buy stuff, move forward. It is expensive. I will be in Suffolk County in Wyandanch Park tomorrow at noon. I will then also be next week, a 4-day week starting in Syracuse on Thursday. I will be in Herkimer County on Friday. And then I'll be doing a full North Country tour on Saturday and Sunday. Jefferson County, Essex County, Clinton County, St. Lawrence County. I'm doing a North Country the next weekend, next weekend for that. So that'll be my wrap up. Then I will be in, I think, was it Albany or Rochester after that? So we're doing some more. We're wrapping things up, hitting every single county before the end of the year to do my 5th, count them, 5 full Sharps. And when I say I cross the state, I don't mean I go from fundraiser to fundraiser to fundraiser. I mean I go from diner to vape shop to gun shop to winery to brewery. I go from local business to local business, actually meeting people. How do I know so many stories about New Yorkers? Because they tell me them, because I meet them and I talk to them and I understand what's going on. If that matters to you, if it does, LarrySharpe.com/donate, or if you want to, LarrySharpe.com/shop and pick up a cool mug or shirt or sign. I'm going to ask you all this, and it's important. Do one of two things. Get a sign. Either do what John's doing, make your own. I don't care. If you can afford to buy one, please buy one. Otherwise, make your own and put that sign outside your home. It does matter. Write in Larry Sharpe does matter. Why? Signs in areas where it's just Democrat, Republican actually don't matter because people already know you're Democrat, Republican. But signs of a third party legitimize the third party person. They legitimize the independent candidate. So that sign really does matter. That bumper sticker really does matter. Put that sign outside your home, put it in your car, in your window, whatever. The sign does matter. Please, if you can afford it, buy one. If you can't afford one, no worries, make one. All good. Just get a sign outside if at all possible. It does matter. John says, when someone tells me Larry's stealing votes from Lee, I say they're wrong. Lee's stealing votes from Sharpe. Yes. And usually they get frustrated and have no comeback. See, that's the issue. You got to remember something, right? Why are people still supporting me? I got kicked off the ballot. The Republican Party threw me off the ballot. And I'm still polling at 3% on their push polls. In reality, about 6%. Their bogus push polls is about 3%. So I'm somewhere between 3 and 6%, right? So I'm already polling at that, and I'm thrown off the ballot. The people who are voting for me support me. The people who are voting for Lee Zeldin are just desperate Republicans. So if the Republican Party backed me, I get all those votes because I become the Republican. So all desperate Republicans still vote for me. Plus the people who want me vote for me, which means I win. This is literally the McMullin style that I talked about. Yes. So he's stealing votes from me. If the Republican Party actually cared about winning, if Lee Zeldin really wanted to save our state, he would get sick tomorrow and Republicans would endorse me. That's what would happen. Their committee would replace him with me. They do that tomorrow, I'm the next governor. You know that. Imagine what press would happen if that actually happened. Just imagine for a second. If they went, oh, Lee Zeldin got sick. He can't. Oh, we're going to replace it with Larry Sharpe. Imagine if that happened. Oh, my God. Press everywhere. Everyone talking about it. Now we have to debate. Me and Kevin will have to debate now. Now I'm on every show. I'm on CNN, Fox, everything. Now that happens. That happens. We win this thing. It's a fact. You know it. I know it. They know it. Will they do it? Of course not. Of course not. Yes. Joel says, Tulsi can make bigger difference and more money doing commentary. It's true. I think you're right. The question is, what does she want to do? Right? What does she want to do? Does she want to just make cash, make a difference? All difference. Mike, oh, thank you for clarifying, Mike. I say they helped the party because it woke more people up about the dangers of the state. Oh. Huh. You know, you may be right. I think you see more people from the lockdowns were worried about government authority and also school. So, you know what? You're right, Mike. I like that. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that. Yeah. Red Vapes and the Advocate says, I agree 100% Larry Sharpe. If Ron DeSantis is the Republican Party candidate in 2024, then Tulsi Gabbard should be his VP, if not VP Secretary of State. You know, if you look at, I've already said it and I believe this still. I think 2024, neither Biden nor Trump will be in the Republican or Democratic ticket. I know that is a bold statement to say 2 years out, but I'm looking at my crystal ball and I'm usually right. Not always, but I'm usually right. I think neither of them will be in the ticket in 2024. It'll be somebody else and somebody else. If it's DeSantis and he picks Gabbard, that's a tough ticket for the Democrats to beat. I don't know how they beat that ticket. That's a tough ticket to beat because in the key areas, Tulsi will pull just enough, and Democrats aren't going to rush out as fast because Democrats don't hate Ron DeSantis. They hate Trump. So some of them are going to stay home. They will have to make DeSantis the most evil person on the planet, which of course they will try. Of course, that's politics. They will try to do that. I'm not sure they can. So I don't know. I think it's a valid point. Yes. Laura says, thank you for coming up and saying, I do all the time. I go to every single one of them all the time. Yes, 100%. Jamie, Larry Sharpe has your team or yourself reached out to any libertarian leaning celebrities. Yes, in fact, Jamie, one of the reasons why I wanted to do so well in this election, because I was hoping that if I could easily break, 20, 15%, which I thought I could easily do. If we could do that, right, then we could literally get enough attention that celebrities would pay attention to us. They often don't. So yes, they don't always respond. They usually don't respond. Sadly, to get celebrities, you have to kind of have some celebrity yourself, right? And I don't have enough of it. We don't have enough of it, right? We need more of it. So if Tulsi Gabbard was one of us, she'd reach out, they'd listen to her. If Yang would have joined us, he's not going to, but I mean, they listen to him. So yes, I have a little bit of celebrity. I got Yang to be, on the stage with me. It's something, but I don't have enough. I wish I had more juice. I'm working on it, my friend. Like, comment, share. Give me some more. We'll keep going. So yes. Real Mab says, I met you in Mount Upton, New York at Tom's house. So I want you to be governor. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Scott says, pay your friends to have a bumper sticker on their car. Oh, good. Because he says your polling numbers was mentioned on Liberal Hive Mind. Oh, I'll check that out. Liberal Hive Mind. I'll check it out. Thank you. Do you remember what episode it was, Christine? If you remember, let me know. So yes. Phil says, Zeldin said he won't change abortion laws. Conservatives have no excuse for the Republican. Phil, if you're talking to conservatives, if any of you are talking to conservatives, I said before, Lee Zeldin's not a conservative. He talks that trash. He's not. He just basically threw abortion under the bus because it was, can I win? Threw it under the bus. If you're a conservative and you're pro-life, why would you vote for Kathy Hochul or Lee Zeldin if that's your number one issue? Why would you do that? Why would you? But Larry, you're not pro-life. Yes, but I am anti-abortion. And I promise that I will change this state's culture and make things easier for women who are pregnant so that there will be less abortions. I have said there will be less abortion in New York State. Why? I will make surrogacy easy and legal. It is not either of those two things in New York State right now. I will make adoption super easy in New York State. It's not right now. I'll make sure that women can get contraception over the counter. That's not easy right now. You can't do it in New York State right now. I want all those things to be true. I will make an environment our best defense against abortion is not the law. Our best defense against abortion is women choosing to not have abortions. How do we do that? We make it easier for women to have children. Change the environment. Women will make better decisions. In our view, we can do that. That is a libertarian answer for a conservative party. It's a libertarian answer for a conservative party. What is your answer if you're conservative in this state? Nothing. There never has been one. If you're conservative in this state and you say, well, I'm going to teach them by voting for Lee Zeldin on a conservative line, you have been duped. That is the dumbest thing you can do. You have just rewarded the Conservative Party for not being conservative. I don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you do that? It's terrible. So yes. Real Mirab says, I'll be writing your name in capital letters. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Yes. We make that happen. Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Let's see here. Joseph says, hey, Larry, I'm very concerned about your plan for a crime when it comes to having an office of the pardon and pardoning people. There are people that are robbing people and stealing their money, and there's other people throwing off the subway platforms. We need to have a bunch of night watch Crime Stoppers set up from back in the 90s. The office of the pardon is not meant to make sure people who are doing crimes like that are being dealt with. No, the office of the pardon is made for two things. One, pardoning people who are victims of the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act is a horrible law, unconstitutional, and how the hell do we get around it? By non-enforcement. The office of the pardon is for that. That's for sure. But something else, possession, right? Why are people getting arrested for possession? Possession should not be a crime. To your point, Joseph, I agree completely. If you want weed or heroin or whatever you want, and you go beat someone over the head or rob their house or kill them or whatever, that's a crime. You're not getting pardoned for that crime. That's a crime. There's a victim. Be punished. I'm totally fine with that. Let the cops go after that. But you're sitting in a corner and you got some heroin in your hand because you're an addict. Why is that a crime? Did you rob someone for it? Or did you go beg and pay for it? That's not a crime. I'm not arresting you for that. But once you cross that line of creating a victim, then you go to jail. So the office of the pardon is to stop the crimes that aren't crimes. SAFE Act is one piece, of course, because that's also possession. SAFE Act is all about possession. I have a thing, a piece of plastic on my firearm. So now I'm a criminal. That's not a crime. I hit someone over the head with my rifle. That's a crime. I stole a rifle. That's a crime. I shot somebody. That's a crime. I threatened somebody. That's a crime. Those are all crimes. Go to jail. I happen to have a plastic piece on my shotgun in my garage. That's not a crime. According to the SAFE Act, it is. According to Governor Sharpe and the Office of the Pardon, it is not. I have a substance on me. Did you hurt someone to get it? No. Did you steal it? No. It's not a crime. That's what it's for. So to be clear, that's what the Office of the Pardon is for. So just to make sure. So yes. Polo says the New York GOP cannot make you look evil, artists. They just tell you voters should take Muslim Zeldin. Yeah, what they try to do is make me look bad or cheap or something like that, not valid. They do that all the time, right? That's the issue. They always say that. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Red Vapes says, that's why I said DeSantis, because without Trump, he's the best shot for non-establishment Republicans to have the candidate. Yeah, if the red side puts out an establishment person, the country is in the same BS as now. Agreed. The country has been, I don't know if you've noticed this, the country's been trying to get a non-establishment rebel since 2008. The country thought, wrongly, they were getting that with Obama. That's what they believed. Oh, okay, this guy's a rebel. He's different. 2016, if the Democratic Party hadn't screwed Bernie Sanders, Bernie would have been the nominee because the Democrats thought he was their rebel. Trump was the rebel. So we've been trying to get so many rebels for years. And that's why now they put the kibosh on that. Biden wasn't popular in 2020 until what? Obama came out and said, everybody, shh, be quiet, get behind Biden. And they screwed Bernie over again. The country's been trying to get non-establishment people for like decades now. I think you're totally right. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. That's definitely the right thing. So, all right. There we go. And of course, I knew it had to come up, and you, of course, are right. No victim, no crime. I do like that. Yes, absolutely. So, yes, no victim, no crime. So, guys, again, please like, comment, and share. I know I say it all the time. It's because it matters. Please do it. Like, comment, and share. Let people know. Click that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Support the world's smallest political quiz. Click that link, put it someplace. And of course, if you want to support me, LarrySharpe.com/donate. It does matter. LarrySharpe.com/shop. Pick up something. Or join the Discord. Please, there's a link right there. It's in the description. Join our Discord server. It would help. And tomorrow I will be in Wyandanch Park in Suffolk County. And then next week I'm doing the full North Country tour, all up in North Country, Herkimer County, Essex, Clinton, Jefferson, St. Lawrence. I'm all up in there. So if you can, do me a favor. Do me a favor if you can, particularly if you live in that area. Call or reach out to all of your local press, your local radio station, your local newspaper, your local TV station. Reach out to them and say, hey, Larry Sharpe's going to tour. Why aren't you covering? You know, you got kicked off the ballot. He's the only independent candidate running. What are you doing? Why don't you run a story on him? Come on now. Pay attention to him. Do that, please. It does matter because if any of them show up, things begin to change. So please do that to the best of your ability. And one more thing I'll ask of you, and it's just free. Takes you some time, but I'm giving up time. Give me some time. Takes you some time. Any media that you listen to, that you absorb, whether it's YouTube, TV, radio, newspaper, podcast, anyone you absorb that you think will have anything to do with politics or New York State or anything like that, tell them I should be a guest. Reach out to them. Direct call or email or whatever. DM them, whatever. Say, hey, why aren't you covering Larry Sharpe? Any media that you absorb that you think might come close to either politics or New York or anything like that, please reach out to them. It does matter. We have to do this. It's the way. We're in the home stretch, guys. We are in the home stretch. This is it. So Christine says the name of the liberal hive mind is Democrat state might flip Republican for the first time in 20 years. Oh, there we go. Good. So they're lying. Thank you. I'll check that one out. Good. Guys, thank you so much for today. I appreciate all the time you gave me. I'm out running around tomorrow and the day after. I will see you all very soon.